In this video, I'm going to show you how you can reduce the noise in your images and get higher quality photos by using higher ISOs. Now, before you get ready to argue with me, just hang on. I often hear from people who are disappointed in the amount of noise in their low light photos. Maybe they just bought an expensive camera and expected better results. However, when I ask for sample shots, I find that 99% of the time they're underexposing their photos. And here's the deal. Even images captured at lower ISOs can look extremely noisy when underexposed. And if you try to brighten the image in Lightroom, it gets worse. The answer to this noise problem might seem counterintuitive, but believe it or not, I'm going to tell you right now that if you want to reduce noise in your images in these situations, you'll want to use a higher ISO to get a brighter exposure. Let me illustrate. Here I have my friend Riley. He just got a new Canon T6S in the 18-55 lens and has found himself shooting in a low light environment. He watched a YouTube video that suggested never using the pop-up flash, and he remembers reading a review that said never shoot above ISO 800 with this camera. Well, now he's really struggling. All of his photos are coming out underexposed, and when he increases the exposure in Lightroom, the image becomes noisy and he's unhappy with the results. Try ISO 3200. The image certainly looks better on the back of the camera. How does it compare when we do some pixel peeping? Side by side, we can see that the ISO 3200 image is brighter. Does that equal better? Well, as soon as we try to adjust the 800 ISO file from the T6S, we lose some contrast and we start to introduce chroma noise. That's color noise, and this type of noise can really decrease the quality of your image. If we zoom into 100% on the ISO 3200, we see less of this noise. And although the image isn't noise-free, it's free of that chroma noise and provides better contrast and overall is a better image. Some of these issues can be avoided by shooting RAW. The lesson I want you to take away here is not to be afraid to raise your ISO when shooting in low light conditions or when you feel that it's necessary because slowing your shutter would cause motion blur or because you can't open your aperture anymore. If you ever find yourself debating whether you should slow your shutter speed a little bit more versus raising your ISO, remember that it's much easier to correct for noise in Lightroom and Photoshop than it is to correct for unintentional hand or motion blur. Lastly, if you find yourself shooting in low light often and you have only the kit lens, consider buying a prime lens. They can be very helpful in low light environments and offer several other benefits. Watch this short video that's going to be linked right here and at the end. Or another alternative is to buy an external flash and use it correctly. I've got a video right here that you can watch. Will also be linked at the end. If you found this helpful, take a moment to like, subscribe, and you can also follow me on Instagram. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.